Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm your host, Ralee Marks, with today's top stories. In the last hour or so, Naama Issachar, the Israeli-American backpacker who has spent months in prison in Russia for being caught traveling with about 9 grams of marijuana, has been pardoned by Russian President Putin and is on her way with Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu en route home to Israel. This follows months of pleas, of campaigns, of behests by many here in Israel and the Prime Minister, who really campaigned for her release, saying that her sentence of 7.5 years for traveling with just 9 grams of marijuana did not fit the crime. It was disproportionate. Following phone calls between Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Putin, it was speculated over the last week or so that she would be granted a presidential pardon. Yesterday, the governor of Moscow signed her pardon, and today it was official, and now she is en route home. And her mother has said that all she wants to do is hug her daughter. After months of extreme stress following 2 appeals that were lost, we now have Naama Issachar heading home. In other news, it was the news that rocked, or the announcement that rocked the Middle East, and that is the Trump peace plan announcement. Now, interestingly enough, the plan has been endorsed by many countries across the region, and today Kuwait was one of the latest countries rather to endorse the Trump plan, and to me this speaks volumes. This speaks volumes if we have countries like Kuwait, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi, Qatar, Oman, Egypt, and various others all endorsing the plan, all saying a thank you to President Trump for his proposal, which many see as a realistic step towards peace between Israelis and Palestinians. But the only ones in the region who don't seem to be supporting this, apart from Yemen, Iran and Turkey, which is to be expected, are the Palestinians themselves. And earlier today, President Abbas, the president of the Palestinian Authority, sent a handwritten note to Prime Minister Netanyahu warning him of his discontent and the discontent of the Palestinians should they proceed with the peace plan. But we've also heard from members of the Trump administration who've worked very hard to put this plan together, including Jared Kushner, who said that the time for fairy tales and myths is over for the Palestinian people, that their leadership need to now do something brave, do something concrete, and take a step forward into ensuring peace for their citizens, that this offer may not come around again. And US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo saying that if the Palestinians are unhappy with the details of the proposal, perhaps they should submit their own counter-proposal. This would be a significant step towards negotiation. But in the meantime, riots have continued across the West Bank and the Gaza Strip in objection to the Trump peace plan. And speaking of unrest in these areas, we have seen a great increase in the amount of arson balloons that have been flown from the Gaza Strip into Israel, to reaching as far as Dimona and Masada, Masada being some 80 kilometers away. Earlier today, rocket alerts were sounded across the south. However, the IDF has confirmed that this was not because of rockets fired, but the Israeli Air Force is striking targets in the Gaza Strip in response to the IED balloons that have been sent over. There was one picture yesterday particularly disturbing of a bomb or IED wrapped up as a present and attached to a bunch of balloons. And to residents in the south and across Israel, if you see this, please warn your children. These are not presents, these are not toys to be played with, and please to steer clear and call the police. So these are the top stories making headlines in Israel today. Reminder that this weekend, if you need some reading material, look no further than our website. You can check us out at www.layoftheland.online. You can read our Holocaust education-centric content that we've put out this week, including an article on Holocaust medicine by Dr. Tessa Schlusch, as well as commentary on the Jerusalem Forum by Dave Kaplan that took place last week, and the subsequent protests outside the Lithuanian embassy. And you can read my article all about the Stoppelsteiner project. These are little plaques with the names of those who perished under the Nazi regime, and they are all across Europe. You can read more about that there. Also, check out our Facebook page. While you're there, like us and follow us, share our content. And remember, every Friday we are somewhere different in Israel to wish you Shabbat Shalom. So don't be a stranger. Send us your Shabbat Shalom greetings. And also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Israel Brief. The more who subscribe, the bigger role you play in educating the world about Israel. So I'm Rolene Marks, and this is the weekend edition of the Israel Brief. It's Thursday here in Israel, which means tomorrow is the start of our weekend, and we wish you a wonderful weekend and Shabbat Shalom.